Hey everybody, hope all is well. Hope you're doing great. Yo, you see the title of the video, me, Becky, a rich guy and a black guy? Let's get to it. So you see on the screen here, this is Heather Gay. She is one of my favorite characters. She's one of my favorites, not a character. One of my favorites on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Heather Gay. And if you're familiar with the show, remember she's the one that got the black eye. And who gave it to her and why? She all of a sudden seemed to kind of have amnesia, but if you watch the show, we already know how she got the black eye. Why? Well, somebody who is currently serving prison time. So let's get to it. So yeah, you don't forget how you get a black eye. That's my opinion. I just kind of find that a little hard to believe. So here we go. So Becky comes to me and knocks on the door, and she asked me to do her a favor. Okay, girl, yeah, no biggie. Just do her a favor. So as we're communicating, doing small talk, yada yada, she seemed really like unnerved or really kind of like little antsy. It's like, girl, are you okay? And she's just talking, and I can tell that she is so not okay. All right. So as we're speaking, now I do want to tell you that I know her and I also know her boyfriend. All right. I also know her boyfriend. To me, my experience with the guy, pretty cool guy. Reliable. You need a favor. He's that guy. You know what I'm saying? Real cool, real patient person. Hey, that's what I know of him. Okay. She's his woman, so she's gonna know a little bit more. If you hear some sounds in the background, I'm kind of multitasking here, okay? Whipping these papers, sorry. So, as we're speaking, she seems a little kind of, little bothersome. I ask again if she's okay. So, out of the blue, again, I know her boyfriend. She tells me, "Yeah, I gotta get this done, yada yada yada." Um, because he'll be mad. He's abusive. Say what? She told me he was abusive. Again, this is, I know the dude. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe she's just being, and I hate to say this, but yeah, I was thinking to myself, maybe she's just being a little extreme, then I thought about it. Well, I didn't think physical. I just thought maybe they're having it out and he might be like, raising his voice. He might be yelling, in the house, raising his voice and yelling. That's what I attributed to when she said he's abusive. That, he's probably up there yelling, doing something silly like that, having it out. And she's like, because, he's not taking it real well. Him, out of $1 million. And I already knew what it was about. Long story short, he had suffered an injury and he got hurt very badly. They did not think he was going to make it. So he was hospitalized and it was like he was basically at death's door. Okay. And he's like, when he woke up, they had like written on his body parts. This was so kind of scary to me. Like, heart good, lungs good. And it was like, what? He's like, yeah, I woke up and they got all this writing on my body. So it was like, man, sounds like to me they're about to part you out. I mean, seriously, it sounded like to me they were about to part him out. I'm talking about like part your, like a used car. Hey, the engine looks pretty good. Transmission, say, how's that started? The alternator. I said, it sounds like to me they're about to part you out, your body out. Wow. He's like, yeah, but I survived. So when that happened, when that occurred, he had a business. So when that happened, pretty much his daughter stepped in to run the business, and it was very profitable. Well, when he got better, he wanted his daughter to sign the business back over to him, and it wouldn't. She wouldn't do it. She would not sign the business back over to him. She wouldn't do it. And so next thing you know, she lawyers up, she's trying to have him committed. It was a whole bunch of drama. He lawyers up and it's like, oh, I got another court date. So I know all about that. It was a whole bunch of like drama, like, oh my gosh, it was like major, major drama. Okay. So I already knew about that. And it was like, she didn't want to communicate with him. She went and got a temporary restraining order, that kind of thing. Now, I will tell you that his wife at the time this happened, she's deceased. Okay. So I already knew about that. And it was like, man, because we talked about it one afternoon on the patio. And I was like, oh my God, do you need a drink? This is like, you got some major drama. I'm like, you should write a book about it. It was like, man, he's just like, I want my company back. I want my company back. So you add up the legal fees, it's already been a year. She's done great. I'm like, yeah, you think about it, $1 million is a lot of money. You've pretty much paved the way. So all she has to do is like, step into it. And now it's like, because, the thinking you were going to be dead. So long story short, when she said he's not handling it well, that's what she was referring to when that happened with his daughter. He's not handling that very well. Okay. And it's like, wow, you got some money that's kind of like gone. You feel me? So I'd already heard about that. So again, I'm thinking maybe they're just kind of like having it out, a yelling match, slam the door, you go to a room, he goes to a room, or whatever you do, everybody cools down, and then, another day. So that's what I was thinking was kind of going on. So I hadn't seen her in about maybe like a week. This is like so weeks later. I hadn't seen her in about a week. So I inquired as to how she was. Hey, I haven't seen her, how she's doing. All right. He goes, oh, well, she's sick, and I've been having to, to take care of her. Oh, okay. All righty. Okay. Well, I said, maybe I'll just try to stop by. He's like, yeah, she's really sick. I said, maybe I'll just stop by and, let her bring some magazines or something. And I have a lot, I have a couple of, like say, for example, Vogue or AD, Architectural Digest. So I'm like, hey, I'll bring that over, Elle magazine, whatever, since she's like really sick. And that's what I was thinking. I'd go ahead and stop by. And I got busy, and of course that never happened. Okay. So I'm going for, my exercise in the morning, my morning jog, my morning run, and I see her out and about, but I see her from the back, okay? And I see her from the back. She's cut her hair. And I was like, oh. So I said, hey, girl. She's like, oh, I see you doing your morning jog. Yeah. And so when we're speaking at this point, how you run, and then you stop and you're kind of cooling down and you're now walking. So I am now at the walking. When I'm running, I don't want to be bothered. So at this point, not to sound selfish, just like I've done the running part. So now I'm kind of cooling down. So now I'm just kind of, besides running, I'm slowing down and I'm walking. So as I'm speaking to her, she's got her back to me, but I recognized her. And so she's like, yeah, she's talking. And so I'm like, stop. And then as we're still talking, she finally turns around. When she turns around, she got a black eye. And it's exactly on this side. I kid you not. That's why I told this picture. She's got a black eye. So I'm like, so now I'm thinking about what was discussed weeks ago. And then I thought about it when he told me she was sick. It's making me think, she was sick, all right. And so now I'm really shocked because, like I said, I thought maybe he's abusive. I'm thinking like, yelling, that can be abusive, verbal. So now she got this black eye. And so she's like, oh yeah, I see you cut your hair, girl. It really looks good on you. So she normally wears it long, but now she's got it cut like into a little bob. I think it's cute little bob. She's like, oh yeah, well, a tree branch, I guess she was pruning some trees or something, and a tree branch, it had fallen on my head, and then when we pulled the branch out, it pulled some of my hair out. So she's basically saying that the tree branch had pulled a patch out. And so what I'm thinking is, yeah, like the tree branch has dotted your eye. So now I'm a believer. I'm shocked. And so she's just talking to me, and she's talking like really, really fast. She's talking real fast, and I dare say anything. I'm just like, with the haircut really looks cute on you, girl. I really like that. Yeah, I'm gonna let it grow back out because she likes it long, what have you. And so she's just talking a mile a minute and talk about gardening. And did you hear about this neighbor down the street and yada yada yada? And I knew then she was talking fast to talk about everything except the elephant in our space, the black eye. And so I didn't ask any questions. I just kind of like went along with it, like it wasn't there, because you know? And so we just spoke and just talked. I said, "Oh yeah, girl," and talked about just a couple of things and everything but that. I didn't feel it was a need to address it because she's the one who has experienced it. I cannot imagine some man hitting you in your eyes, hitting you in your eye, and then it turns a different color. Not a mugging your lover, her boyfriend. So now I'm thinking, it probably went down when she was missing for a week, but now that black guy is there. I don't know what the heal time is, so we didn't talk about it. And then I thought about what she said. When she said he was abusive, he can't handle it. She's like, she was like, yeah, so basically he used to be rich, but not anymore. And so my thing was, you have two homes. Well, he does. And I'm like, may want to sell that house, the other house. You may sometime have to sell the house that costs the most, not the little bungalow that you got going. You got two homes, may have to sell one of the houses. And I was shocked, and it made me think. I said, wow, she's all because he can't handle that loss. Of course, I'm sure won't go to counseling, doesn't want to process it. So instead, it seems to me, he's taking it out on her. Taking it out on her because your financial position has changed. And I said, and here's one thing that sometimes we don't talk about with people. It's like people are like, oh, what your man got, and oh, some women, oh, my man is rich. Yeah, your man is rich, but not necessarily you. Now they're not married. And I thought about it. I was telling my homegirl, one of my sister girls, I was like, wow. I said, just seeing that. And see, at the time when she told me, I had told one of my homegirls, my close ones, I said, when she told me that, girl, I'm like, why she got to tell me? I was like, I don't want it to be a situation where, oh no, I'm in a jam. So what do I do? Oh no, go to the black woman. You know what I mean? Which I don't think race has nothing to do with it. But I was like, how that it hit my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be that. It's like, go to the black woman. So then if something does happen, I was like, even if it's true, next thing I'm supposed to be the one to fix it. I said, I just don't want that to be the deal. If that's her, you know, thinking process, oh, go to the black woman. You can run to her in case something happens. I said, I don't want to get involved if that's the deal. I said, because, women like that in those situations, they'll say one thing, you don't want to get involved in it. And then next, it's a whole other party. So my thing is, there are resources. There are resources. You know what I mean? So unless you try to exhaust those, I'm not gonna give you, okay, now here's a key. Now it's gonna be up under the mat. And if something goes wrong, I'm not doing that. I said no. And I said, plus I know him too. So I just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get into that. I really don't. So now I think I have the confirmation. This isn't just talk. This isn't just no. This is a painful reality. Uh, p- this is a painful reality. It's painfully true, and it makes me think. I watched this show called Reasonable Doubt. Love that show on Hulu. And so one lady was taking a stand. One of those girls, some what is it, half and half. One of those characters. Um, she was doing a testimony for DV, and she was like, a lot of times with women, a lot of times, her name is not on the house that she's living in. A man can be rich, but she can be abused. Why does she just up and leave? Well, you have to understand, her name is not on the house. Her name is not in the house. It's not even on the car that she drives. It's not. So people say, well, look where she lived. Must have some money. No, it might be his money. You could be a prisoner in a mansion. And it's things like that women don't talk about. No one wants to dust bucket, but it's like some women, oh, I got to go after me, a rich man. Yeah, but what kind? And I thought about that on Reasonable Doubt. I was like, that is probably true for a lot of women. The house that they live in, girl, that house, It's his house. It's just like that. The Real Housewives of Miami. When old girl, he wanted her to leave, and it turns out that was married to the surgeon. The little, the real skinny one. I forget her name, but it's like when he wanted her to leave. Basically, he already had that house prior to her. Okay, so he already had that house before they got married. So, he's moved on, got a new chick. He wanted her and those children to go ahead and leave. Oh, leave my house, leave my house. And I don't blame him. I'm not going anywhere till a divorce settlement hit. How about that? So you look at it, it's like, wow, that house, it was his. It wasn't theirs together. It was his, it was his. So I thought about that. I said, wow, this right here, I think it shows me how a lot of women can get into a situation and you're thinking, oh, well, my girl, he's got money. He's got money. He also has control. And it also leads me to believe during this time, these economic times, a lot of people have lost a whole lot of money. I was looking at this article and it was like, wow. So this person, like, let's say somebody's worth $100 million, they lost $70 million. Whoa. You can be a millionaire today, and I'm talking cash. I don't mean by your assets. You can be a millionaire today in your portfolio. Let something go wrong, honey, you down to a thousandaire. A lot of people cannot process that. That's hard. That hasn't happened to me, but I understand what it's like to have money. Money, you're like, oh my God. So you went from 300,000 to what? Oh, wow. Hard to process. You know what I'm saying? Things happen, and I totally get it. So like I said, that's on a level that I've never been, as far as like $1 million. But you think about it, in these economic times with everything going down, a lot of people, I think more women, they can be with a man that has money. But here's something to consider: if things go wrong with that man and that dude can't handle it, if he can't handle it, you don't think it's going to affect his personal life? He may, being a macho guy, they're not going to go on, I'm going to go ahead and get some counseling. I don't see that happening. What I'm afraid is happening is the physical violence against women, as in this case here. Again, I know her boyfriend, man. Again, like what happened with the money, I already heard about it because he and I talked about it months ago on my freaking patio. I was like, wow, you have got to be kidding me. I was like all tuned in. What? I remember it was yesterday. When we were talking, I went inside to get some drinks. Hey, let me get, come on, you need a drink. You know what I'm saying? It was that serious. I was like, wow. So I never, if someone else had told me that, I wouldn't have believed it. So I thought about it, I said, wow, this is probably what's happened to a lot of women that we don't talk about. When things go wrong financially for these men and they can't handle it and you're with him, boo, you ladies, you got to be careful. A person could turn on you. And so that right there, I would say I was a little skeptical. No, after seeing what I saw last week, I'm a believer. And that right there, I'm quite sure, I'm not surprised. This will happen to this has probably happened to a lot of women, and they're suffering in silence, suffering behind your moo shades, your Chanel, your Gucci shades, suffering, not coming out. When people lose a lot of money, it can have a physical and mental toll on them. And they say money brings out who you are. Sometimes the lack of money. I read some articles that when times are bad economically, that DV, domestic violence cases, seem to go up. So I thought, wow, a lot of women may be experiencing this. Things go wrong, he's a provider, and so then he can't cope. He can't do some things that maybe was doing before, can't afford to do them anymore, start freaking out, won't go to the gym or work out, go and get counseling, might just take it out on the one that he's laying beside every night. And I thought about it, this is probably happening a lot, and women are just suffering in silence because they don't, the man has all the control of the finances. So much is trying to, find a man that's wealthy, things can change. This here again, if anybody would have told me this, I would have thought, no, I'm not buying it. If anybody else would have. And with her, I assumed it was just verbal. So when he was like, oh, yeah, she's been sick, it's been taken care of her, yeah, I'll bet. I couldn't believe it. And maybe a branch could have fallen on her head, But I'm kind of wondering if maybe they got into it and maybe he snatched the patch out. Maybe that's why her hair came out. At this point, at this point, I mean, come on. So this here, one of the things like this here, sometimes women keep silent on. And I said, wow, it's really frightening again. Because if someone would have told, I wouldn't have believed it. I'm like, oh, there's no way. I know him. That's the part that's scary. I can't even, this day and age, I can't even, man, sometimes it's just safe to say, stay single. You have to wait. And I said, can you imagine what if you're out trying to date and you come across this? I said, this right here is just frightening to me. It is just frightening to me. So you think she's the only one? No, there are probably other women going through this nonsense, and it's just, I mean, it's scary. I'm telling you again, if anybody would, I'll be like, man, I don't believe it. They're just trying to make a loud. Not anymore. You never know. Anyway, let me know what you all think. It's just, I am still really kind of shocked. It's like, wow. Now I know. Now I don't have to second guess it. So that's the reason for the title for the video. Me, Becky, a rich guy and a black eye. She said he can't handle it. He can't handle it. Losing that money. Still don't have control over his company. Lord, it's unbelievable. But this is where we are. And I thought about it too. One, and I'm just guessing because we haven't had this conversation. I don't know her. One part of me kind of wondered, maybe, just maybe, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? If he did that to her, which, I mean, who else could have done it? I believe her. I thought about it. I said, maybe that's why the daughter don't want to sign their company back over to him. I'm starting to think, I wonder, and he probably was, if he was abusive to his wife, and the daughter probably knows about it, and this may be her payback, oh no, I'm going to get my inheritance early, and how you treated mom. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I said, maybe that's it. This may be payback. I wonder if he was abusive to his wife. Uh-huh. And maybe that's why the daughter is coming out like, she's not giving the company back. She's not doing it. This may be his punishment. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Again, ladies, you just don't know. This here, I just, again, you never know. What I say, like a lot of women that are single parents, baby mama, oh, I know him. And then you look up, oh, no worries, we're going to get married. He's committed to the relationship. Uh-huh. All you know, darling, is why a lot of women find out the hard way. You know what was presented to you. That's what you know. You know what he presented to you. The next thing you know, a woman in a relationship, oh, we're expecting, things going to be happy. Oh, that's the real him. So you think you know people? You know what is presented to you. That's what you know. What they say, we all wear a mask. This here has shocked me. It has shocked me. Anyway, if anyone's going through this, please try and get some help through the agencies. Self-preservation. Honey, I don't care if you live in a mansion or a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom, a hotel. Domestic violence, it is real and it is serious. Try and get some help. Be alert, be aware, because there are a lot of monsters out there and I'm out.